young, not even a black woman, a single mother. Okay. Now, thank you, our streets. I appreciate you. Thank you, our streets. Thank you, our streets. You were looking good at the meetup in DC on the rooftop. I just have to say that you was looking extra beautiful, extra scrumptious. I just want to say you're getting better with age. Y'all want to end this live stream or no? You know what I'm saying? A lady who was a single mother, and that's not as important as the context that we're about to deep dive into, said that she was tired of the United States of America. She was tired of the United States. She was tired of the perceived racism here in the United States of the Americas. And she said that she was going to do something about it. And so since she was born, this is a black woman now, she was born in Russia. She had lineage that was working. Her father was working in Russia, but she came to the United States of America and was raised here at a young age. But she was able to still speak Russian. And so because of what was happening in the culture today, she said that, you know what, guys, I am going back to my native land. I am going back to the USSR. I'm going back to Russia. And then she experienced what real racism is. Check it out.
A black woman who moved from the U.S. to Russia to escape discrimination and racism revealed on social media that the entire plan backfired on her in a disturbing way. Francine Villa was born in Russia but moved to the U.S. with her family when she was a kid. In a heartbreaking video, Francine claims that both she and her baby were brutally attacked by racist neighbors in Moscow. She detailed the alleged assault on Instagram. Now, the fact that the attack occurred in her homeland is an extra painful blow. Villa had previously spoken about her move in the 2020 documentary Back in the USSR, which aired on the Russian state media channel RT. Villa said that her great-grandfather George Tynes, who hails from Virginia, worked as an agriculturalist after moving to the Soviet Union in the 1930s. Now, much of her family still lives there, but at a young age, she moved with her mother to the United States. It was there that she spent most of her life until experiencing what she described as a traumatizing experience with police. Villa explained in the documentary that she'd approached officers for help during an emergency, but that they turned on her instead, throwing her to the ground. It was then that she decided it was time to leave. That was back in 2019. Here is how she explained it. Quote, "Why did I make up my mind to move to Russia? I wanted to leave a country where I was facing discrimination. After a year living in Moscow, she told RT, quote, I feel free living in Russia because in Russia, no matter what time it is, I can walk outside and I'm safe." 5 years later, that proved to be a fantasy. Following the alleged attack, Villa took to Instagram with blood still on her face, saying a couple in her apartment building beat her with fists while she was with her 2-year-old and yelled racial slurs at her in Russian.
See, it's the difference between what you think is racism here in the United States of America. I like to call it perceived racism, and actual real racism, and you getting your Negro wake up call when you outside of the United States of America. Most of y'all, and I say this all the time, and y'all act like it's not a real thing. Most of y'all are fake racist baiters. A lot of people are fake victims. What do I mean by being a fake victim? That means that everybody wants to say that they've experienced some level of perceived racism. And when you ask them to describe it, and when they're being honest with you, they can't tell you anything except for the movie that they made up in their head. So, for example, a lot of people will say stuff like, you say, hey, well, how was you, targeted? What kind of racism have you experienced in your lifetime? And they'll say, I went for a job, and because I had my hair in a knot and it was in braids, that they perceive me as not somebody that they can work with, and they probably gave it to another white man. And it's like, well, did you see the person that they hired? No. Did they tell you that they wasn't hiring you because you was black? No. How do you know that you just wasn't the best person for the job? You know what I'm saying? Or you'll tell them, the police pulled me over. Well, did they pull you out the car and beat your ass? No. Did they take you to jail because you was doing something that you wasn't? I mean, I had some trees on me and the car smelled like trees and they said that I looked drunk, but they was just targeting me because they always in my area. So what you see a lot of people say versus what their real life experience is two different things. And so because we've been programmed and told that America is racist, all of a sudden Trump became a fascist in 2016, according to most liberals and Democrats. When you see what is really happening in real life versus what you really experiencing, is two different things. And most people haven't really experienced any real racism. They have what they call perceived racism. They're perceiving that somebody is discriminated against them because they black. They think that Carnival is changing the rules because you're a black person. No, they are changing the rules because they don't like ghetto behavior. It is a cultural thing. And so you're not being a person that is discriminated against. You're being a person that is unruly, and people have to change the rules in order to make sure that everybody else is comfortable. Your idea of racism, you don't know what that looks like. You don't know what it feels like. This is something that is programmed in you so that you can keep saying that they, the perceived they, are holding you down. Are there racist individuals in the United States of America? Of course there is. Of course there is. Are there systems that set up to keep you down? Yeah, if you're looking at it from a class perspective, it's class wars, it's culture wars. It's not an individual war at all. Because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have so many poor white people. You wouldn't have so many white people. And then I say, well, okay, well, I am a black man that's from the inner city, Detroit, went to Detroit public schools for the majority of my life. Went broke in 2008. How do you explain my success? Oh, they just let you in. They gonna let one or two of y'all in. Well, it was pretty interesting because when I was in school and I was going to my computer programming classes, and when I was trying to be a software engineer, I looked around to the left and then I looked around to the right and I didn't see any of us in there. But if I wanted to go over to African American studies, right down into the next hall, then I seen all of y'all in there. And I seen no white people, no Asian people, no Indian people, no any of those type of people. So how do you explain that? How do you explain that Asians and Indians have the highest household income of anybody in the United States of America? How is that a thing? Because if racism exists, shouldn't it exist beyond just black people? You know, so when you start to ask the questions, this is usually what people say. Oh, you just not woke. Oh, you still sleep out here, fam. Man, you just got to do your research. Okay, well, point me in the right direction. What research do I have to do? Just do it. Just do the research. Like when people can't explain it to you, when you start to ask questions, they always result back to, you know what, man, you just don't get it. You know what, you just not woke enough. You know what, you haven't watched enough documentaries. Okay, I'm sorry. You right. You right. But see, you going to get your Negro wake up call.
In edited footage shared by Villa of the incident, the couple can be seen arguing with her in the hallway of her building, threatening to throw out her belongings while she was seemingly blocked from entering her own apartment.
Вы в России давно живете?
А у вас прописка есть здесь?
Дай мне войти в мою квартиру.
Прописка есть?
Почему вы ко мне на «ты»?
Я не могу выйти и входить в свою квартиру. Напугает моего ребенка.
Кого? Он пуганный, плачет, бедняжка. Да, зайка, ты плачешь, да? Плачешь, зайка?
Now, she accuses her neighbors of changing the locks, cutting off the electricity, and even tossing her baby's stroller down the stairs. She also claims her child was left with bruises following the incident. In footage taken from...
Yeah, now they throwing your baby down the steps. How you feel about that? Now they picked up your big head baby by his BDB heads, and he just so happened to get thrown down the steps. Now, we're not going to ask any questions. Don't worry. We're not going to ask where his father is. We're not going to ask if, you know, is his father over in Russia? Did you find another black man in Russia to procreate with? That's not the conversation that we're having today. What we are talking about is perceived racism. Perceived racism. Perceived racism versus real life wake up call. They said they hit the baby, didn't they? Let's see.
Дай мне войти в мою квартиру.
Прописка есть?
Дай мне...
Почему вы ко мне на «ты»?
Я не могу выйти и входить в свою квартиру. Напугает моего ребенка.
Кого?
First of all, that's a black baby right there. All right. That's a black baby. That's not a mixed baby. That's a black baby.
Он пуганный плачет, бедняжка, да, зайка? Ты плачешь, да? Плачешь, зайка?
Now, she accuses her neighbors of changing the locks, cutting off the electricity, and even tossing her baby's stroller down the stairs. She also claims her child was left with bruises following the incident.
So if her child is left with bruises following the incident, where could the bruises come from is what I'm asking. Because I heard the whole thing and I'm trying to understand if the child is left with bruises, what are you implying? Was the child hit? Was they assaulted? Did you get into a kerfuffle and the child got stomped on? How was the child left with bruises? Now, let me also say this. We're only getting it from one lens. All right. We're only getting it from one lens, meaning that we're only getting her perspective. The first question that I asked myself when I watched this full story is, well, how could they change the locks on you and how could they lock you out of your apartment? That doesn't make sense. How was they able to turn off the electricity and the water to your apartment? Maybe you didn't pay your rent. Maybe it wasn't about racism. Maybe it was more or less about you being a bad tenant. Was they the landlord or was they just regular neighbors that was just living upstairs? Were they the live-in neighbor and landlord at the same time? And was you being belligerent? What part is this? Did you hit them first and then they mollywopped you? We don't know. Was it even real racism? Or are you just claiming racism because you're in Russia and you know that that's going to garner the most sympathy because you're in a completely different country because your black butt was supposed to be here in the United States of America doing what you was supposed to do, and then you was over there caping for them people, and now they over there kicking your butt and they throwing your kid's stroller down the steps. So that's what I'm just asking all of the questions that other people not asking. I would like to know, since they want to project and talk about all of their problems, got the bloody face on social media, looking for sympathy from the people. You know how I know people are being overly dramatic? Not saying that her situation is not important, but do you know why I think that this situation is being overly dramatic? Because whenever I see people, let me tell you the first sign that I look for. Let's say, for example, I was to go out, get into a fight, and he got the best of me, right? Let's say that the guy got the best of me. We got into a scrap. He got the best of me. Okay, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. But let's say it just so happens to be a white man that I got into a kerfuffle from, and he had to happen to have Conor McGregor skills, and I underestimated him, and he beat the shit out of me, right? I'm sorry, he beat the crap out of me. Shout out to the daycares. Let's say he get the best of me. But then let's say that I want to make it a racism situation, and I say, man, the reason we got into it in the first place is because we racist. Now, by the time that I pick up the phone and I start recording myself inside of the hospital, right, because she's in a hospital bed, whatever. By the time I take the train, because she was on another scene, right, this scene right here. By the time I take the hospital train or ambulance and I start recording myself, say, oh my God, I can't believe that he beat the crap out of me, right? And then they take off my regular shirt and then they, you know what I'm saying, they starting to administer first aid to me. At some point, I'm going to look at this and say, man, I got to wipe my mouth. I got to clean myself up. You know what I'm saying? By the time I get to the hospital, I'm pretty sure that they're going to give me an IV. Like, if you're still like beat up and you still got blood and you're trying to show the blood because you want people to garner sympathy, because you want them to believe that you really did get your butt kicked, then I know that you're being extra and you're being over. I know that you're being extra and you're being over. 100%. Like when I see people cry in front of other people and then they blow out that extra snot because they really, really, and then they don't clean up the snot. Oh, you really do look for the sympathy. You really playing a sympathy card, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just know the nature of people. People are attention starved. You know, if you get into it with your girl and she go upstairs, but then she stomps real loud so that she can hear you, so that you can hear her stomp, or if you walk past the room and she feeling some type of way about it and she go, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or if a kid want to sniffle extra loud because they want you to hear it, or it's the same thing all across the board. You're going to be in the crib with your girl, even on the other side. You in the crib with your girl and, you know, she mad at you, but she just so happened to have something skimpy on. So she going to, I'm coming down. I'm coming to the refrigerator, but she took the long way to the refrigerator. She could have went that way. Yeah, you know how it is. Like, oh, okay, I see what this is. So you wanted me to see you walk past and show anger at you, and you got a full face of makeup on at 11:30 at night, and your bikini gown, and so you want to show me, and you don't want me to see you because you're not checking for me, but you just wanted to walk past all the way and then walk all the way back and then stop and get some water that you're not even thirsty for so that you can go upstairs. And it's bottled water upstairs inside of the refrigerator right next to the bed. I got you. You didn't want bottled water that was chilled, that's already upstairs. You had to come back downstairs and get that piece of clothing that just so happened to be on the chair in that other far corner when you could have just grabbed the one that was upstairs. Oh, I got you. Anton, my husband, watching too, don't get a game out. Listen, I know what y'all doing. I know what you do. I know what you do. I know what you do. Guys do it too. The guys been doing it since they was young. They've been doing it since they was young dudes. Guys are bigger attention seekers. Ladies, let me give y'all some insight. Men are bigger attention seekers than women. Men are bigger attention seekers than women. 100%. Y'all know what y'all do. You've been riding in the air conditioned cool all the way downtown, and then when you finally hit the strip, you put on your favorite song, you put it on crank it to 10, you roll your windows down, and you put your arm out the window to show off your watch. Oh, this right here? Oh, this ain't nothing. Man, I done had this for so long. I didn't even pay attention. I just threw this one on today. I ain't even thinking about it. This is crazy. I ain't tripping off this. What? What you doing? This is insane. This is insane. You get home because you extra fresh that day. You put on your Sunday's best before you get into the house. You tuck your watch under your shirt. Hey, what's going on? Oh man, you looking extra nice today. I just threw this on. I wasn't even thinking about it. No, I dress like this every day. This is just me. This is just me. I'm always fresh. It's just me. I ain't tripping about this. I'm always looking fresh. I don't even care. I don't even like attention. I'm trying to get to where I gotta go. Get you a Hermes belt. Now you wear your shirts tucked in, you tuck your t-shirts in because you got a Hermes belt. I got you. I feel you.